Yo, what's up guys, it's Train here, and welcome to episode 2 of How to Gunsync. Yes, I did say it was going to be done by last week, my bad, didn't feel like doing it, so we're now here today. Now, if you didn't see episode 1, I suggest you could do it. It's not necessary, but I suggest you do it if you want to be able to create your own gunsync packs and stuff like that. So now this is episode 2 where we're doing the editing phase of the gunsync experience, journey, whatever. Depending what video editing software you have, it might be different. So if you have Sony Vegas, any edition, I guess it's probably all the same, I'm not sure. This will be helpful for you. And, you can always get the totally legit version, just saying. But yeah, so I use Vegas Pro 14 for all my videos, and I might be going to Vegas Pro 16, which Kenzo suggested that I should, so I might. But as of right now, we're going to work with this software. So here we are with our file here. I have found a song. Of course, I just found a non-copyright song, because why not? And it is Nefx's Rumor. With an S. Yes, I think. Anyways, so this is the song we've been using. I have the file right here. You can see the audios right here. So what you always got to do first is to save the file first, just so you don't forget. So just save it as the song. And just put GS, that's what I put for Gunsync, and then just save it to your desktop. So once you're there, you now have this file here. So you still have the video here, you really don't need it, unless you want it for a supporting image in it. So what you need to do is just press U and delete, then the video is gone. So now you just have the audio layer itself. And also I forgot to say here, since you're trying to sync up guns, you want to actually hear the guns, which I've had a problem with that in the past, not the future. Sorry, I probably will have it in the future, but you got to make sure to lower the audio sounds. So I made sure to, go down, -4 decibels there, so it's not as loud. But it could change as you progress with the sync, depending on, the sound quality of your recordings. So, since I only have 2 layers here, what you can do is create new layers by inserting a video track, or duplicating the track, or deleting the track. So you gotta insert a video track and an audio track. This is how I like to do it, and since I like to work ahead and plan ahead, I usually create multiple tracks here, so in case if I need to, I just can put them in different tracks here. So we technically have in total 7 layers, but you can fit 3 whole videos here. So that's pretty much how I like to start out. Now obviously here you have the beginning phase of the song. Now usually I don't like to mess with this, and I just like to do like a simple oh, Train presents, or whatever, just like whatever intro you guys want to introduce that you're doing a sync or whatever. Just introduce the video to get your audience hyped up for it. And now here is where the beat starts. So you can see here with the audio waves, you need to make sure it's perfectly synced to the point where it needs to be precise. Now I've noticed within a lot of syncs that some of them aren't in sync. Like after a while, like maybe at the beginning it's fine, but after a while it just starts to get out of sync because they're just copying and pasting and not paying attention to their sync ability. I guess you could say that. But the way I like to mark it off is with a marker. Just press M, and then boom, you get a marker, number 1. Now, I'm not going to worry about the intro now, because it's pretty easy for you to do, if you know how to use Vegas. If not, then just look up some tutorials on that, because I'm going to focus on syncing now, because this is how to gun sync, and not how to video. Anyways, we got here the first part here. So, I opened up Windows there, my bad. So, what you got to do now is open up your gun sync pack, which I have right here. My Rialto one I recorded a while ago. And obviously this isn't a finished pack because I didn't bother finishing it, but you get the idea. So if you want to listen to the song, and you're just going to say this ahead of time, you're probably going to get annoyed at the song by the end of it, because you have to listen to it multiple times just to get the sync perfect. So just a forewarning, if you like this song, you will hate it by the end of the video. Let's continue with this, and let's see what we have to work with.
Long hair, and you know that she's a bad chick. All the boys stare, can't help it, it's a habit.
So what we got here is this pretty simple beat, and where you have your bass drum and your snare.
Long hair, long hair.
And obviously with that heavy bass, you gotta do it with Lucio, which I have right here. Okay, I found the right one. So what you always got to do first when you have your clip out here, it's not the best quality here, but what you got to do is go to properties when you right click on the video portion of it and go to disable resample. That'll make the quality a bit better. And I usually just uncheck maintain aspect ratio because it helps me with stuff, I don't know. Now, you can see that you don't really see the audio as well. You can maybe see a little sliver. So here's what you gotta do. I've seen problems where like people don't seem to like show the full audio in their syncs, in the weapons. So it just sounds just like the music, but just guns over it. So what you gotta do is, you gotta go to properties, and you gotta go to normalize. This will normalize the audio and increase it to its original state, and then boom, you'll be able to see the sounds. Now once you're able to cut out each individual part, you're able to then normalize it again by recalculate. Okay, wait, I guess it doesn't work here. Never mind. But anyways, we just need Lucio's boop. So we got it here. So now we can just delete the other portions for now, and we can always go back to it if you have it in Project Media. You have the clips here. Let me just delete the other thing here. So, you have this extra thing here. Now, like I said before, you press U, and you can just delete it. So now that you have this separate audio here, you can drag it up here, and you can see it's not in sync. So what you gotta do, simple, just drag it. Now with Lucio's boop, technically his beat starts here in this area. Don't use this extra part because then it's not gonna sound good, if you know what I mean. Not really gonna sound good. So just go to that area and then just cut it there. Press S to split and delete the rest. I keep checking if I can normalize. I guess I can't. Okay. So now that you got that, you can check if it's perfectly in sync.
She's got some nice long hair, nice long hair.
Alright, so now that we got that, we can now go to the snare, drum / clap song. Whatever it is, you can now work with it.
Nice long hair.
Now what that sounds like, it sounds like Reaper. McCree would be too, you know, abrupt. So Reaper sounds like it's more smooth going. I really can't find words to describe what I'm doing, so just go with it. So you just gotta do the same thing you did before, disable resample, normalize the audio, delete the excess track there, and then boom, you got his weapons. So, obviously I like to start here at this layer because this just doesn't seem right to me. Or maybe not. We shall see. You can normalize again, you get a bit louder audio, and then since this is my PC, I usually go draft quarter viewing quality because, you know, that's how I can view it properly. So once you got that part in, pretty much you got the main part here. Obviously, if you don't want the audio to string like this, and just have this just there and just cut out, you have here on the top right of your audio a little 90-degree thing, 90-degree arc. Okay, what you can do is click and drag and the audio will fade. If you right click on this part where it says gain is 0.0, just right click on it and it can change whichever way you want. So I want it to fade pretty quickly, so I changed it to that so there's nothing there by the time we're here. So once you're pretty much good with that, you can mess around with audio if you want to. And pretty much you have to just, I'd say copy and paste, but not the whole section. Just try to copy and paste each part, but just make sure you know where you're starting from the next thing, because if you just copy and paste this, it won't be in sync. So you gotta make sure you know where you're gonna be placing the clips so you can just cut them to a pristine spot. Yes, I'm using words now. Sweet. And once you got this pretty much under control, you can just continue this and etc. But I'm not gonna continue with that part. I'm gonna move on to the bass drop.
What I am saying, and they say that she's not easy. No, she's really.
Or not the bass drop, my bad. Basically, in songs, you got to find differences in beats. If you just copy and paste and just go over it, you won't really find a difference. I'm sorry, guys, I'm doing this all in one take, so bear with me. Anyways, you got to find differences in songs, and you have to listen through the whole song trying to find a different, you know, beat change or anything. So that's where you add markers to show that there's a change there.
So I want a demonstration, and I've always learned it better with. head to her toes. Yeah, they say that she's a latch. Yeah, the whispers all around say she has a reputation. Don't believe it till I see it, so I want a demonstration.
So you can see here, there's a beat change. It adds a little bit of a symbol in the background, overlaying, and also just in between the bass and the snare, compared to this section.
Not a piece of fur is plastic. Till I see it, so I want a demonstration. And I've always learned it better with a hands-on education.
So when you go there, you got this whole new section to work with.
Captivated, so the game I'm gonna play it, yeah.
And then here is another beat change where you get the build up to the drop.
She got a body like a coke thing. She likes to keep the party going. These rumors got me feeling lonely. I want that body, baby, show me. She's got a...
So obviously you gotta listen to the song constantly to try to find where the beat, where the beat changes would be. Obviously you can eye it too if you want, like you can easily see here, oh, it's gonna change here. It's gonna be something different, where the bass drop would be.
I want that body, baby, show me.
So obviously we're good there. You just need to keep doing that throughout the whole rest of the sync, and you'll be good. So you'll be able to keep track of what changes and where. So next, we gotta work on, obviously, the next changing beats. So let's see what we got here.
Whispers all around say she has a reputation. Don't believe it till I see it, so I want to
So you got the symbol in here. Now that's very subtle and very kind of quiet. So you gotta find a sound that would work for it. My preference would be Anna, because it's kind of a silenced weapon. So do the same thing you did before, disable resample, uncheck that box, normalize the audio, pretty much the same thing I've told you before. And you gotta find the audio spot, and since Anna's audio, I'd say it's kind of weird. Like, honestly, I don't know. But I'd like to start from here with Anna's audio and then just cut out the beginning part. So, when you got that, all you gotta do is just move it in then, and find the area you need to put it in. Obviously, I forgot to copy and paste this section here because these are the same tactical weapons you're going to be using here, so just keep them there for reference and for extra clips. So obviously I made a mistake there. I did not put the weapon in yet. So you got to put it in the right section, otherwise it's really just going to not sound good to you. And I'd say syncing takes a while. Alright, you're not gonna get done within like 5 minutes. It's gonna take at least a few hours. Now, knowing me, I've made a bunch of, shitpost syncs in the past, and those have taken me literally less than anything. Less than an hour, less than half an hour. And yes, they have, but I just am used to syncing, so it's pretty fast for me. Also, I didn't really care about those videos. But besides the fact, syncs like this, you should really care about it and try to take your time and try to work with it. So, gotta add in our beats again. There's Lucio. Gotta add him in there with Reaper. And you gotta obviously shrink it down so it will fit inside. That was a mad statement. And since Anna's audio is a little bit loud, you gotta lower it a bit. I'd say by 5 decibels, also because it looks even. I don't know. So once you got that, fade whatever left is there, and then copy and paste this part again. Not the whole section, just work with one individual clip at a time. So then you don't miss this extra beat right here. Obviously, if you listen back to it, you'll notice that, oh, I missed a beat there or something. And obviously, I just realized something too. If you want, you can also alternate Reaper's weapons. So, since his weapon, both of his shotguns are the same sound, you can alternate it and work with it and try to, use the other side. It's best to alternate it and not to make it look like he's using the same gun over and over again. So, what you can do here is just use that and then just fade the audio like you did with the other one, and then you're good. So now you get this. And there you go. And also, guys, one major important thing that I like to do when I edit. Control S. Even after I even make one simple edit, Control S. It will save the project automatically and I won't lose it. Because before in the past, multiple syncs I've done, I've worked on so much of a sync, and Vegas would crash, or my PC would crash, or anything like that, and the project wouldn't have been saved. Even with Vegas recovery, nothing was saved. I tried. So, I always press not Command S, it's not a Mac, Control S to save the project right away. Just to get it out of there and to make, just for safekeeping. Now, with this beat here, you can hear a bit of Lucio and Anna at the same time. So, this is where you would combine them into one. So, by combining them into one, I mean like overlaying one into the other. So, what I suggest is after I just edit this for a second, looks good there, you got to fade one of them. So, obviously, if you just put Anna on top of Lucio, you're not going to see Lucio. Unless you either fade the clip to around 50%. But obviously, if you don't like this kind of effect, the fact that it looks like, obviously 2 videos are on top of each other and looks blurry like that, what you could also do is add a split screen effect, which you can probably find somewhere and download it online. So, what you gotta do here is, for me, I add in a split screen effect. If I can find it, here it is, and I add it to this track. Now, obviously, it looks like it's split in half horizontally. I want it vertically. So what you gotta do is split the angle to 360, and then you got it there. But since Anna's not on the right side, you gotta flip the screen to make it look like, it's perfectly on the other side. So you gotta flip it horizontally by going into the edit menu for the video, and then make this 100% opacity, and then you're gonna come out with this. Obviously, if you don't like this, the fact that there's the cloud getting cut in half, you don't have to do it. You could do what I told you before and just have it overlaying each other with 50% opacity for the top layer. But I liked having the split screen effect, although I hate clouds on that map, but whatever, doesn't matter. And obviously in the beginning it happens here too, so you gotta have it the same spot. So you got this part all done and synced. You'll have that as a pretty much final product for that section. Now there's another beat change here. We go to the build up.
Got a body like a coke thing. She likes to keep the party going. These rumors got me feeling lonely. I want that body, baby, show me. She's got a body like a coke thing. She likes to keep the party going.
Now you can do whatever you want here. Try to find weapons that would actually sound like this. But in order to, keep me, awake right now, we're gonna go to the bass drop, because the build-up, try to find weapons that you can sync, but you gotta listen in for every beat. Like, you can see there's a beat here, a beat here, a beat here. You gotta find every beat that is, not as noticeable, because you'll just miss out on those beats, and it won't really be a full sync. I know I've missed a lot of beats in the past, so it's my problem with that, but anyways, let's continue. So here with the bass drop, there's just a long strand of sound, and it changes 3 times. Now, what you want to do is try to look through your gunsync pack and find out what sounds like what. So, already, since I know what each hero sounds are like, I immediately think Bastion would work for one of these sounds, since his spread on his turret mode is pretty good for low pitch sounds. So let's go with that, and let's delete the other thing again, and here it is. Now you just gotta find pretty much the right area to put him in, or it in, or she in, or whatever. Find the spot, and you will find a good spot for it. Just gotta make sure you also find out where the thing stops, because it stops here. When you get there, you got your spot on the main level for the bass drop. Now, just try to find the other sounds that you can. And make sure, I'd say, to put a marker. Not that wrong, sorry, wrong button. Put a marker where it changes. Sorry, I meant it changes 4 times. My God, I'm so tired today. So, try to find any good, I'd say, heroes that have good bullet spread. If not, you can always alter to make it sound better. So, we can also do here is Hammond. He has a pretty good bullet spread when he just fires. So, what we could do here is just edit the audio bit. So, with his bullet spread, it's kind of split with the audio, because there's like individual gaps in between the things. So what you can do is go to, obviously, properties for audio, and under here it says method, make it elastique. At least I think that's how you pronounce it. And from there, you can pretty much, when you press Control and hold to the end of the clip, you could make it shorter, speed up, whatever. To make it sound like it's spreading, you know, more. Now with his audio, obviously cuts out short, so you need to improvise on what you can do here. So I'm going to probably cut it around there. And what I'm going to do is delete the first one so I can make it a tad bit louder, because it's just not loud enough for me compared to Bastion. So you gotta make sure it's a little bit louder, so, you know, your audience can actually, you know, comprehend that you did that. I guess you could say that, so. Obviously, it's gonna sound different when you mute the track for the audio, so. Now, he sounds like a helicopter that you listen here overhead in the Vietnam War. So, you gotta improvise and, you know, based on your creative minds, you can figure out what to do weapon-wise. Obviously, I'm just thinking of what to do for a sync constantly, but this sync, I just not thinking at the moment because I'm also exhausted. But, pretty much that's the basis of editing, sync-wise, for me personally. I could make a part 2 of this to go more in detail if you want, so make sure to leave a like for that. And, yeah, it's pretty much the basis of how I get through things, and if you want me to do part 2, leave a like and comment on if I should do it, because I will go into deep detail, and you guys may or may not comprehend it, depending on how straightforward or how complicated I am. Anyways, guys, thank you so much for watching episode 2, and I will see you guys later.
Somebody once told me